Is it L-L-I-L-I-N-G, controlling behavior? What is controlling behavior? It's two L? Yeah, what is controlling behavior? Yeah, having it your way. But like how do we accomplish it? Yeah, how what is controlling behavior? What is it? Intimidation. What do you mean intimidation? What does that mean? What does that word mean? The threat of force, huh? Yeah, the threat of force. Threat of force. It, you say emotional blackmail. What do we know about that? What is emotional blackmail? Emotional blackmail, right? So give me an example of emotional blackmail. Yeah, but give me an example. That's a definition. Give me an example of it. Right. If you really love me, that's kind of guilting a person into doing something, well, that's another way to do it, right? To kind of be smooth with the talk, right? Talk a person out of or into something, right? Um, so controlling behavior, right? Trying to get, like what's the object of controlling behavior? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to accomplish? Well, exert some power over someone. For what reason, though, do I want to have power? Why do I want to have power over them? What am I trying to get them, oh, I'll give you an example. Okay, the reason why one might use controlling behavior is to get someone to do something that they don't want to do, right? That would be a reason, because if they wanted to do it, I'd have no reason to be controlling with them, right? Yeah, so I want somebody to do something that they don't want to do. So make someone do what they don't want to do. Okay, so what would be another one? If I'm forcing someone to do something that they don't want to do, what would be another reason why I'd be using controlling behavior? Oh, be a bully. All right, bully. All right, but I'd also, uh, right, bully. But I'd also be maybe for. Okay, so this one I'm making them do something that they don't want to do. But another reason might be because I'm preventing them from doing something they want to do. Right. So I'm going to prevent. Uh, yeah. Yeah. And then you guys mentioned the last one, like intimidating, making someone feel afraid. How does intimidation work? How do threats work? What's necessary in order for a threat to be effective? Okay, you threatening a family member or you threaten harm to that person, but I want to go a little bit deeper. What makes it believable? Why you could threaten me and I might not believe you, right? Say something about that. What do you mean history? Yeah. So the threat works because I've already demonstrated the length that I will go to make you do uh, what I want you to do, prevent you from doing what you want to do, or making you feel afraid. So you guys may have heard this in your family growing up. Do I need to fix your face? Yeah. And the reason why I straighten up is because of the history, right? I know. No, you don't need to fix it. No, I'm good, right? But the threat is in there, right? So these are all kinds of controlling behavior. Let me give you another one that we might not talk about so much. What about sulking? Yeah, what about sulking? Sulk, to sulk. Sulking, right? Pout, right? That's real powerful, right? A lot of times we go into that when, we have a situation with our partner or somebody and we refuse to talk to them. That's a form of sulking. Yeah, staying quiet. But not just staying quiet, because I'm not staying quiet like this. I'm staying quiet like this. I'm broadcasting that I'm unhappy about something, but you might not necessarily know. And I'm doing that to try to bring about a change in your behavior, right? What kind of change may I want to bring about? I don't necessarily want you to be aggressive, but again, right, we get back to I want to keep you from doing something that you want to do or make you do something you don't want to do, or I want to get my way, right? Like give me an example of soaking, when soaking might be effective. Say something. Okay, so when my partner asks me to do something and I don't want to do it, right? And then I soak, right? So that's powerful, right? What message does she get? Yeah. So you're saying the message that I'm broadcasting to her is fuck you. Yeah, I don't want to do this, right? But now soaking can also be powerful if she asks me to do something and I don't want to do it, but I do it anyway. And I soak all the way through it. Like she asked me to go shopping with her and I'm soaking all in the mall and I'm dragging ass, just having an attitude about it, right? We see children do this, but, adults do it too, right? Right. It's soaking, right? It's powerful. Soaking is a powerful way of bringing about some change, right? I don't have to talk about my feelings. I don't have to come correct and say, no, I don't want to do it. No, thank you. I can just soak and you get the message that I don't want to do it. And then now another way, right, is like I can be around the house, she can ask me to do something and I can mess it up. I could just do a half-assed job with it. See, I told you I didn't want to do it. I told you I wasn't good at it. Right? These are all different ways of controlling, right? Yeah, I told you I couldn't. Don't ask me to do it again. Well, fuck it then. I'll never do it, right? That kind of stuff, right? That's that controlling behavior. Yeah, this is a part of, like having a bad attitude at the house, like when you get in a relationship with somebody, there are a number, we have to do, in order to have a good life, in order to have a good relationship, it's based on like doing some mundane things. Good outcomes are based on you doing the mundane, day-to-day stuff that nobody wants to do, but you do it. And at the end of that, you have some kind of outcome that is built on just a whole lot of things that you didn't want to do. Good finances. In order to have good finances, you got to like balance your budget regularly, right? And nobody wants to do that. You got to look at your checkbook. You got to know how much money's in there. You got to like call the bank and check on things that come out. That stuff nobody really wants to do. But in order to have a good financial life, that's the stuff, right? You want to have a clean house, right? You want to come home to a clean place. You got to pick up after yourself. You got to wash dishes. You got to clean the bathroom. That's the stuff nobody wants to do. But that's how having the stuff that you want is accomplished. It's through, mundane tasks. You want to have a good business. You got to like bill people. You got to check in with your clients. You got to market. Those things nobody wants to do, right? But that's what it takes. So if you want to have a good relationship, so we got to listen. We got to be honest. We got to be open-minded. We got to be willing. We got to be present. Those are the things that make a good relationship, right? So, and mundane tasks, That's really for heroes. That's for people that want to be great, the people that get the mundane stuff done. We often think about, everybody wants to climb Mount Everest, right? But nobody wants to prepare for it. You got to get your provisions, you got to get all the outfit, you got to get your food, you got to line everything up. That's the stuff. So that's why one of the reasons why we're talking about controlling behavior. I want to be less controlled. Or you can still be controlling, right? You can still be controlling. You're trying to get people to do what you want them to do, right? We're going to trade how we do that, though. But we still need to be able to get people, the facts are still the facts. We still got to get things done in a household, in a relationship. So what I want you to do is use constructive means, not destructive means. I want you to get positive, right? Have a good attitude about it because you see the big picture, right? That you're going to stay out of trouble, you're going to keep your relationship together. But all the time, I want to make someone do something that they don't want to do. She don't always want to do the stuff I want her to do, but I'm trying to get her to, right? And sometimes she wants to do some stuff, and I don't think it's the right thing to do, right? So I haven't really I still want to, I don't call it controlling, but I'm still working with trying to get some things accomplished. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? So we got to be more mindful. We got to be more skillful, right? And I would encourage us to keep the big picture in mind. We want to keep our relationship together. We don't want to go to jail. We don't want to force someone to do something and then we win the fight and lose the war. Now they don't want to deal with us anymore. Now they're calling the police, something like that. So what would be some ways to get people to do things that you want them to do? See, I can't just drop you off right here. You guys pretty much know what controlling behavior is. I don't want to drop you off right there. Now what do we do? How do we motivate people to do what we want them to do without being abusive? How do we do that? Carrots, you say. What do you mean carrots? Yeah, rewards, right? Yeah, reward. And that's one of the biggest issues in all relationships that I see. People don't know how to use rewards. They don't know how to do that. We have rewards used on us very effectively, but we don't know how to use rewards to get what we want in our relationships. And I work with I don't now, but one of the most fun things I do is work with kids and teach kids how to take time out. And really, it's the use of the reward that gets them to do it. And kids will do anything. Look, I'll do anything for a reward, not just a kid. A kid will do anything for a reward. And once you understand how to use rewards, you can get them to do anything, and then you can change what the reward is. So I start out using things that they like, probably some candy of some sort, and get them to do what I want them to do, and then I start using praise. And the hardest part of the whole process is teaching the parent how to do it. That's the hardest part. So when we say carrots, what are carrots? What are carrots? Well, yeah, rewards or incentives, but now I'm asking, what are those? What are rewards or what are incentives? Yeah, compliment. Yeah, that's right. That's right. What are rewards? What are incentives? Tim, you're doing a good job. You're still around compliments. Compliments are very powerful, right? What are rewards? Privileges, money, right? Access to something, right? Good sex, right? Right. Sex is yeah. Now look. Here's the interesting thing about rewards. I could say, I don't know. Right? And that would be true. Like, I know what is a reward for me, right? But I don't know what a reward is for you. I need to ask you to find out. And once I find out, that's powerful information for me to know. And everybody is motivated by different things. Like I got a grandson, and I'm trying to teach him how to take a time out, but he won't take food, he won't eat food from my hand. So what I'm used to doing, he won't respond to. So I'm like at a loss to get him to take a treat from me. He won't do it. That's not his thing. Right? So I got to find out what it is that does him, that gets him going. Same thing with my partner. I got to find out what it is, that she really likes. Like one thing I discovered, she really likes to dance. She likes dancing. She likes dancing. She likes to go dancing. If I say, come on, let's go dancing tonight, what I want to do is put the stuff that I would like her to do in front of that, right? If we do, I don't really have to do that too much more because she's pretty motivated. But, if I say, let's get this done, and then we'll go. And most of the problems that people are having in relationships come down to the misuse of reward. What do I mean? What am I talking about? Reward bad behavior. Exactly. I even reward myself for bad behavior. I get on Facebook before I invoice my clients. All right? I don't use Facebook for the reward. I eat the dessert first. And then I'm going to do it. Now I'm all, I'm on Facebook. I lost 2 hours, and I'll get to it later. And then after the 2 hours is over, I don't have time to really get to it. Right? So. Right. Well, that's what I mean. We don't want to ever reward bad behavior. Right. I think we all do, because this is a part of mindfulness. This is a part of being aware. One of the big questions I ask people, right, when they come to see me is, what do you want the other person to stop doing? Sometimes people don't even know. Right? So, yeah. But at least you know. But a lot of times people are having trouble with people, and when I ask that question, they don't really know what they want them to stop doing. And so if you don't know, how are they supposed to know? Right? And how are you supposed to speak to that? And so that's part of what gets us into controlling behavior. I want them to stop doing something, but I'm not really sure what I want them to start doing, but that triggers my attitude. And that triggers the rest of the behavior that goes with trying to get them to stop something that neither one of us really know what we want them to. You get what I mean? So it's important, right? These are important questions. What do you want a person to stop doing? Now, here's another important question. What do you want them to start doing that they're not doing? And what do you want them to keep doing that they're already doing? Those are like really good assessment questions for your relationship. Like, what is it? And if you're not clear on that, maybe one of the problems is that they're not clear on it. And so if they're not clear on those things, it's hard for you to reward them. You get what I mean? And so we just naturally kind of go to a place of being pissed off and soaking and having an attitude because we're not really getting what we need from the relationship, right? So we don't want to, we're always negotiating power in relationships. Who we think, and let me ask you a question. In your relationship, who has the most power? You feel like you have the most power. And why do you feel like you have the most power? Because of her mental illness, you feel like she has the most power. Okay, we're going to come back. Who has the most power in your relationship? Who do you think has the most power? Depends on the situation. So you see it as being more fluid, huh? You think your wife has the most, she has more power? In this situation, she has the most power. Yeah, this is interesting how we see power in relationships, right? It's interesting. Who has the most power? Who do you think in your relationship, who has the most power? You think it's pretty equal? Okay. Now, I don't know, right? Mentally? You think people mentally have more power? Yeah, right. Now, wait. Is domination, is that the only form of power? That's the form we think of, right? Look, when she tries to dominate me and I start soaking, I start taking my power back. I'm powerful with my soaking. I can soak real good. I can not do some stuff I don't want to do. And you won't know the reason why. I start keeping secrets and start having an attitude and foul up the environment. That's pretty powerful, right? Now, your kid, you think your kid doesn't have any power, right? But let them go to school and take a pistol, right? Then all of a sudden they got a lot of power. Everybody's paying attention. You're acting out, right? Now here's the thing. I can't see, what I want to try to avoid is seeing my partner as having all the power, right? That I need to be careful with that. Why? Okay, you say advantage, right? So if I see her as having all the power, what's wrong with that for me? Yeah, you think she's being macho. See how we're describing that? If I see her as having the power, she's going to take advantage. She's macho. She has power over me, right? So that already puts me one step closer to using force to reestablish power. Right? The way that I see it. And the other problem is, if I see her as having all the power, I don't necessarily see the power that I have. I have lots of power in a relationship. Where do I get it? Where are my sources? Well, one source of power is flexibility. To be flexible in a situation. That's a real source of power. Huh? You see what I mean? To be flexible in situations? Like I'm not so rigidly attached to any outcome, right? So any number of situations might be able to get me where I want to go, right? Another source of power is I'm cooperative. See, I realize it's in my best interest to keep my relationship with her together. So that's a source of power for me. Another source of power is I'm committed to the relationship. She won't hear me say, well, fuck it then. She won't hear me threaten to leave her like that. That's a source of power. Huh? 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 So the threat is not good, huh? Because she called you bluff, huh? She called you bluff, huh? Right. Now look. Well, here's the thing, right? Who wants to run away from a full refrigerator? Huh? What am I doing? I'm trying to punish her, and I run away, right? And all the good stuff is back at the house. My computers. Where am I going, right? Where am I going? Right? Right. A source of power is honesty, right? She doesn't have to, when I come here, she knows I leave and come back. I'm not doing anything else, right? I'm not seeing another woman or anything like that. So trust is a form of power. Yeah. She's trying to figure out where you are. Right. Verifying where you are, huh? Yeah. So trustworthiness is a form of power in a relationship, right? That's a form of power. Humor is a form of power. not being so angry and bitter and that kind of stuff. Have, the ability for her to be able to turn to me and talk to me is a form of power. That's a currency, right? I didn't know that at earlier stages in my life. It's important for her to be able to talk to me, right? Like when I leave her, the fact that when I think about her, I get a good feeling. That's a source of power. Because you have to face things in the world that feel daunting, that feel, that upsetting, it's challenging. So to be able to think about somebody and feel powerful, feel good, that's a source of power, right? So these are things I can tap into. My recovery is a source of power. The fact that I'm not loaded. The money's not, I used to leak from a number of different places. My drug use, I always woke up with more a month than money, right? But it's a source of power that I don't use. I'm in my right mind when she talks to me. That's a source of power. I didn't know that at first, and I had to learn that. But these are all alternatives to like controlling behavior. And I'm still controlling. It's a day-to-day, thing I have to work on. It's not like this. Well, I'll never be controlling again. We all go through this. She's controlling. Shut the goddamn cabinet door. I'm still cooking. Turn the heater off or do this or do that. I feel like she's trying to control me, right? But she's not. I just feel like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do this, do that. This is what I don't want. This is what I don't want. Baby, how I look. Where she dressing me now. You know what I mean? That's what I don't want. That's what I'm afraid of, right? That's my big fear, right? She got me looking like a 12-year-old when I leave, right? We wear matching shirts. I'm like, I got mad the other day. You're not dressing me. Right?
I used to sell clothes at first.
Yeah.
And, God, so many men, the wives would have to dress them every morning.
Yeah.
Here are your clothes.
Yeah. Put these on. Yeah, I'm scared of that. I'm scared of that. And I like to dress, I like to put on some stuff. And sometimes she worries, right? And then when I put it on, she's like, oh, that looks nice. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Okay, but that's one of my big fears. My other one is I don't want to be a grumpy ass old man. Yeah. I don't want to be grumpy. I don't want to do that. I want to still have fun. I'd be having fun right now. Me and the 11-year-old got on scooters for the first time last week. I turned into a 12-year-old. I was having so much goddamn fun, and she showed me how to ride, right? And then we just took off. Yeah. If you haven't been on one, get on one. Go someplace where you won't get hit by a car and learn how to ride, right? They're extremely fun. And me, I either walk, ride a bicycle, or take public transportation. So scooters are like a gift from God. So come on, we can get better. We can do better. We don't have to be controlled, right? But what we are, though, we can be. If I'm hungry, lonely, angry, tired, I can slip into some controlling behavior. And it's good for me to know it. I think another source of power is for me to identify when I'm being an asshole and say that. No, look, baby, I'm sorry. I was a little bit obnoxious. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to work on that. I'll try not to do that anymore because I can't be like that. Right? So another way to, so what's another way to deal with controlling behavior? We just did it. Well, humor is one, but what's another way? We just did it. We do it every time we come in here.
Oh, meditation.
Yeah, that's you let go. You let go so you have more control, right? So when your feelings come up, you don't have to fly off the handle. So when she says something to you, and she's gonna say something to you, right out the side of her neck, you don't have to be upset. You can let it go because you got some practice, right? You're not running nothing. And the meditation reduces fear. Like One of the reasons why, what's the reason why we want to be controlling? Why are we controlling? I'm looking for the motivation now. What's the motivation for controlling behavior? You're on it. They don't want to be hurt, right? Yeah, don't want to be hurt. But there's some motivation for controlling behavior, right? What's the motivation? Why do I have a need to control? Fear. Fear. That's what I'm looking for. Fear, right? If I didn't have so much fear, I wouldn't have to control. Now, what am I afraid of? Or what are we afraid of? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right, right. So I'm afraid of the unknown. I'm afraid of pain. What am I afraid of? I'm afraid losing. Yeah, I'm afraid of loss, right? Right? Loss. These are big deals. Like shit, who wants to feel this stuff? What am I afraid of? Loss, huh? Yeah, we're afraid of disappointment, right? I guess that's disappointment. Huh? What are we afraid of? Yeah, maybe consequences. Bad outcomes, negative consequences, right? Bad outcomes. Bad outcomes. So I could just about say everything, right? Yeah, being embarrassed, shame, huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fear, right? Right. And these are basically things, now, obviously, we have some things to be afraid of. Obviously, right? We do. But most of the stuff that I'm afraid of, I typically make up. A lot of it. And what I want to do is I want to sit in a meditation and kind of sort that out. What's real and what's imagined. Because the imagined stuff can really destroy your life. Remember, zebras don't get ulcers because zebras only think about lions when lions are present. We think about lions all the goddamn time. We constantly worry. And everybody in this room is going to die from some stress-related disease. All the time. Right? We're set up to to remember the bad stuff, right? And forget pretty much the good stuff. Right? We don't really forget it. We're trying to get back to the good stuff, but we kind of lean toward the negative because why? Why is the negative more important? We think it might happen again, but why would we be wired to think about negative events more than positive events? Yeah, yeah. More negative things can't happen than positive, right? I don't know about that, but we think about the negative because some of the negative things that can happen can kill you, right? So there's some survival value in remembering that the pot is hot, that water isn't good to drink, that a decomposing carcass isn't good to go around. We remember that. That a bear growling behind a bush is something we need to avoid. We remember that, right? People that don't remember don't make it, right? So we have lots of fear. Fear is a big motivator, right? And we need to be able to turn that off and put our minds in neutral so that our blood pressure and heart rate aren't like spiking all the doggone time. And so that my fear isn't, any decrease in fear increases what? Any decrease in fear increases what? What would increase? Happiness, yeah. Yeah. If I can reduce my fear, I can be happier. Right? Because fear is going to make me what? Shrink up and cower. And when I'm not afraid, I reach out and do some stuff. I put the application in. I, you know, save a little bit more money. Not of a fear that I'm not so afraid that I won't have money. I just put a little bit aside. I can be happy to do anything to me, right? So I got lots of things that I can be afraid of, right, and want to control, right? But now let's look at these. Is the unknown really that much of a problem? Huh? Not yeah, it could be, huh? But it don't have to be, right? So what about pain? Is pain really that big of a problem? Yeah, it could be, huh? Right. But without pain, sometimes we wouldn't do anything. Dude called me this morning, right? Called me from San Diego. I'm on bar. He called, phone rings. He calls me and said, man, I'm toe up. I'm like, what's the matter? He said, my addiction has taken off. Really? Now, talking to me, I'm delighted. When somebody calls me like that, because if you don't recognize your disease has taken off, you really got a problem. But when you start recognizing it, you're about to have a breakthrough, right? So I'm delighted. Oh, I'm getting toe up down here, man. I quit going to meetings. I stopped engaging with the process. I started going back out there on the street looking for hookers. And now they cut me off, and I was so mad at her. Yeah, the hookers cut him off, you know. And I said to him, maybe they recognized how toxic your ass was, right? Right. Maybe they could sense something in you that wasn't quite right. Right. We're often the last ones to know. Right. And so he could, but now he's in a position, right? He could go back. He seemed to have forgotten what was allowing him to have a good time. It was when you weren't using. It was when you were going to meetings. It was when you were taking care of yourself. And she said, oh, she ignored me. Well, no, not really. It sounded like you ignored yourself, and she reflected that back to you. Nobody wants to be around an addict in active addiction. Come on. We are people to deal with. And then he, you know, we talked a little bit. Good dude. He may go back to the rooms. You know, he may not forget to remember what made him successful and go back, right? So, but that's pain. Pain is motivating him now, right? Make a choice. What about loss? Is loss a bad thing? Loss hurts, don't it? Yeah, loss hurts. But now the other side of loss is, I need to have some sense of loss right now, right? I want to squeeze every bit of enjoyment out of this moment. And one of the ways I do it is by realizing that it's not going to last. None of this shit is permanent. God damn. Don't know how much time we got. I'm running out of time. Huh? So what I got to do, I got to move up to the front burner. I got to get on the scooter. You know, where is it? You know, because I don't know if tomorrow I won't be able to get on. You know? We don't know. We think tomorrow's going to be like today, but we don't know. So if you go home today and you haven't told her you love her, that might be a good time. Might be as good a time as any. Right. So it's that sense of loss that can bring you into the present moment and like really have you what we call savoring. To savor the moment, right? Damn, this is a good period of time, you know? God damn, right? What about disappointment? We think, you know, and disappointment is bad, right? Say more about that. Disappointment could also be a learning lesson, huh? But you can look at it. Yeah. Yeah, you learn something. And you can still do some stuff. It's not over. Right? But I need to kind of have a sense of disappointment so that I can experience the victory. Right? The things that are going well. You know, I've been through some stuff. I know it doesn't have to be like this. You know, disappointment can lead to gratitude. right? My life didn't have to turn out like this. It's like, ooh, wee. You know, I did a lot of stuff, both good and bad, to get here, right? And I'm glad I'm here right now, right? So bad outcomes, right? What do you think about a bad outcome? Let's change the name of it. Let's, instead of calling it a bad outcome, let's call it, we're still talking about the same thing. Let's call it a misfortune. Misfortune. It might not be spelled right, but misfortune. What's a misfortune? Yeah, what does that word mean, misfortune? Yeah, you came close, huh? Yeah, you lost it, huh? Misfortune. God damn it, it slipped through my fingertips, right? But a misfortune is also not looking at the situation that you think was a bad deal to learn from it. That's the real misfortune. If I don't learn from the problem I had. You know what would be a real misfortune if you didn't seize every minute of this class to try to get better. That's a misfortune. Because you might sit in this class and go, damn, you know, like, you wouldn't be the first person, right? I got some dudes, I'm walking on the street. Some people have done this to me. They have broke a U-turn. And I'm like, who's this cat? And pulled up and said, hey, I remember you from the group. That was one of the best times I had, right? So to go through this period and not learn nothing is a misfortune, right? When things happen to us, that's the stuff that changes us into who we are, right? So to like just ignore it and not try to learn is you're missing a fortune. Yeah, the other side of, you know, look, I eat clean. January 29, 1995, I stopped using drugs. I thought my life was over. I thought I was through. I had done some stuff I didn't even want to be remembered by God. Man, you know that was the beginning. I'm not suggesting you go out and start doing a whole lot of drugs now. That's not my suggestion. But my life really began. You know, in some ways, you know, the undergraduate degree, the graduate degree, the real steady employment, the better relationships, the getting off drugs, the licensing by the state of California, the 2 businesses, all that started after I got clean. So as we look at, you know, again, going back to controlling behavior, right? I want to try to prevent these things from happening, and I should, right? But I need to be smart about it. I don't need to drive people away. I don't need to go to jail. I don't need to weaken my relationship. I don't need to make myself unhappy with trying to control things. Because a lot of times what I think are bad things actually turn into good things. So like with the unknown, what we really are trying to do is leave what you know. You know, we're trying to leave what you know. You know, I know that much, right? But what I'm trying to do is operate out here. This is where all the fruit is. If I'm only looking for what I know already, I can only get what I got already. I got to try some new things. It's got to be different before it can be better. That's what my sponsor tells me. You know, so if I'm clinging to known stuff and doing the same stuff, it can't be better, right? I have to get out here and try some stuff that I've never tried before. Make myself uncomfortable. Stretch. Right? Sometimes you got to jump and build your wings on the way down. You know, sometimes there's no easy way to change stuff. Sometimes you have to leave the job without having another one. You know, sometimes you have to leave a relationship. It might be a good one. Sometimes you have to leave it anyway. You know, I need to go to the damn gym. I just got to go. It just ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If I don't want to be stiff and grumpy, I got to go take care of it, right? I got to listen to her. Sometimes I don't want to. I'm a goddamn psychotherapist. I don't want to listen to you. You know, goddamn, I got to listen to her anyway if I want a good relationship. right? Sometimes she tell me the same story over and over again. But I still got. But wait. Now I say that about her, but I do the same goddamn thing. I do the same thing. Right? And it's easy for me to point out that what she's doing and not see what I'm doing. But then when I see it, I can be grateful. I say to her, you putting up with me, man. I really do appreciate that. Because I'm hard to deal with. Hard to deal with. Right? But so, if I'm not so controlling, like what we were talking about the other day, like vulnerability. I don't want to feel vulnerable. Right? But by virtue of being a human being, we're already vulnerable. Look at the shit that's happening in the environment. That's happening 200 miles away from us, 300 miles away from us. And I still can't breathe. I'm vulnerable to somebody else doing something. I had nothing to do with that. Right? Right. We're vulnerable. We could leave here today and get run over by a car. We're vulnerable. Right? So, that's a reality. That's what makes it hard to be a human being. We are vulnerable. None of us is going to survive. We're all going to die, and we know it. Right. I feel like I'm playing with house money. Shit, I got clean. I feel like, goddamn, let's double down. Huh? It's great. Yeah, but look, we got a hand we've been dealt. All of us, right? It's a lottery. You don't know. I could feel ripped off because my life isn't like yours or isn't like that person that they got me looking at on TV. But I got to play the hand I've been dealt to the best of my ability. Right? So, let's go. Let's do it. Right. Right. No need to be upset about it. Right? Or you can be upset about it, but still get off your ass and do something. Right? So people can, you can be bitter if you want to, or you could deal with it, or you could transcend. Those are your three choices. Whatever, it's on you. What you want to do. Right? So we want to be less controlling. Stick with your meditation. Stick with it. Try to expand it. Play with it. See what happens if you go 12 minutes. see if you can hang in there. Right? What happens if you try more often. See if you go less time, what happens. Go 3 minutes. But go 3 minutes of being fully present in what you're doing. Right? And then try it without the timer. When you're eating an orange, eat the damn orange. Smell it, taste it, feel it, be in it. When you're washing dishes, wash dishes. Feel the soap on your hand and the hot water and the plate. Be right there. Don't be someplace. You know what I mean? That's all meditation. When I'm on the damn scooter, be on the scooter, right? Feel the breeze in your shirt, right? Feel the wind on your face. Feel the street. The street is hella bumpy. Right? You got to hold on. But be right there. That's all meditation. Right. We all could stand to be more mindful. Right? To be present. Right? We all would benefit from that. Yeah. Yeah.